Good morning, Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today? I'm gonna give it a minute while y'all get logged in. We're a little behind, running 4 crews on the job site today. A little bit of chaos. So
All
give
I
you
see
all a
is
minute.
dollars, 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 and more dollars. Better get it.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Because these are all townhouses. So
Oh,
with 4 of them going, we have 2 more that are going to repair test, and then everyone else is just gonna kind of fold there. So um, I think we confuse the Miss Ward, not having an intro. They just don't know what to do. They're very confused.
hey, we might have to run it back and give them one.
We might have to. We might
Hey,
just have to. We might just have to give them another minute. All right,
mhm,
let's do that. Let's
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 run
give
it back.
everyone let's give everyone that countdown. Here we go. All right, let's try that again, Miss Ward. Good morning, Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today? Friday. We came in raw. We confused the crap out of you. So we rolled it back, gave you a little countdown to give you some time to join us. So, whew! I'm happy it's Friday. It is Labor Day weekend. I'm running 4 crews today, so I don't have to work tomorrow.
Amen. Do what you got to do.
100%, 100%. Good morning, Garrison. Good to see you. Good to have you along with us. It's been a week. I mean, it's just been a week, and so we're just top of minding whatever's coming to our mind. We're bringing it to you straight, um, and we're gonna bounce all over the dang place today. So, with that, Miss Ward, you want to pray us up, and then we'll just
Absolutely.
start talking.
Absolutely. Lord, thank you again for bringing us to Friday. Lord, thank you for giving us an opportunity to spread your holy word and your holy name. Lord, thank you for seeing fit that we can actually rise again today and have an opportunity to not only get better, but to get it right, to be of service to our customers, our staff, our employees, our families, and our friends. Lord, thank you for bringing our gifts forward so we not only help ourselves, but we help others. Lord, give us the discernment to move properly throughout the day, to make the proper personal decisions, professional decisions, and business decisions. Lord, thank you for covering us throughout the holiday and throughout the day on our jobs, our job sites. Protect our employees, our staff, and our crews. Lord, thank you for blessing us in everything that we do. Amen.
Amen. What's up, brother Doug?
What
How
up,
you
Doug?
doing? Well, so let's kick it off with how my day started, how my day ended yesterday, and how my day started today. I
Can
have
we hold
four.
on? Hold on one second.
Well, of course,
Did we say good morning to Garrison?
we did
Okay.
right before the prayer. We got him.
All right, cool.
Yes. So yesterday, I had a job running in another town north of me. We finished up early, ran to lunch, and then the crew boss and I were talking. The crew was like, "Man, if we got to work the next 2 days, we just don't want to go and work more today." It's like, "All right, fine." So the crew boss and I came down here. Well, the delivery was happening as we got down here, right?
Mm,
It's like, oh, perfect timing. So we're going through all four deliveries, and I realize that on one order, the supplier messed up, and on one order, we messed up. So the skylights weren't right. So I'm talking with the driver. I'm like, man, we're kicking this off in the morning, like, and I know you guys don't open till later. He goes, listen, listen. He goes, I get here at 5:30 in the morning. You show up. If I don't hear you honk the horn, all you got to do, call it in tonight. We'll have it picked and ready. You get here in the morning, honk, whatever. We'll come and let you in. We'll get you loaded. Sure enough, 6 o'clock in the morning, I show up right at them gates. Everything's ready. So the point of that is sometimes it takes going the extra mile. If you make a mistake, make it right. Don't make excuses, right? There was fault on both sides of that, and they easily could have. Oh, what was the new guy? It was this. Someone's on vacation. Blah blah blah. They could have made excuses, but they didn't make excuses. They just made it right and served a customer well. How many of us do that in our own businesses? How many excuses do we make along the way instead of, I'm sorry, here's how I'm going to fix it? So there's a little bit of a lesson there. It goes a really long way if you just do the right thing, right? So good morning, Marion, Saul, and EJ. Good to have you along with us. What's something that you do that's that little extra mile for your customers? Have you run into those experiences, Miss Ward?
of course, the air is human. You know what I mean? We all have fallen short, and I think that we also have to be mindful of the grace that God gives us.
Mm,
Um, a lot of us work in high pressure areas and jobs, and we deal with, like, right now what you're doing is critical. Like, you cannot have a misstep on running four crews, and then you're anticipating the drama. You're hoping for the best, but you're preparing. Just as from how early you got up this morning to prepare, the excitement of knocking it out, the excitement of knowing exactly what's coming and prepping for it, and being able to pass that test. And I think it's so important that we always give ourselves grace, but we also man up or woman up to the issues that arise from my favorite word, self-inflicted adversity. That is my
hmm
phrase for the year, because you talk to people and you listening, and at the end, in the back of your mind, be like, well, you caused it, you better fix it. Own up
hmm
to it. There are no excuses. And I just think it makes us better people all the way around in life and business. If you understand that, number one, mistakes are going to happen. Um, and number two, that you act quickly to resolve them. I see a lot of people who don't confront them. They're very confrontational in everything in their life because of the fear of confrontation. So a lot of us have to work on that. Like me, I just show up scary sometimes, so people just don't really know how to take me. So I have I'm always reading the room. A lot of that is just that protection that we
Yeah.
all have. We all have our forms of protection that we walk around with. And so everybody knows Miss Ward's bark is worse than her bite. You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
hey, it works for me.
Well, and there's something to be said in that, right? That self-inflicted adversity. So it doesn't always work out this way, but we were able to walk all four job sites yesterday and find potential pitfalls before they happen. So you can kind of see it in the back of the truck here. There's some plywood and there's some siding panels because we saw some potential issues ahead of time. I've walked these roofs before and they didn't feel super squishy, but when the crew boss walked it, he's like, "Oh, this spot, I'm pretty sure that this is going to cause an issue." We went to figure out how to flash a chimney and he's like, "Dude, I pull these panels off to flash them." He goes, "They're just going to fall apart." So we grab the siding, we prep the customers, everything ahead of time so we can minimize any problems, any delays today. So how many of us build in some protection into our businesses? How many of us are planning ahead for the things that could creep up, right? We max out our credit cards. We don't have cash in the bank. We're taking too big of a payroll, right? Like, how many of us have that little bit set aside for when things go wrong? Because trucks break down, tools break, tools go missing, parts have to be reordered because you ordered the wrong thing, right? Do you have the cash flow in your business to handle that, right? Technicians get sick, you get sick. Do you have any protection against that? Do you have any plans in place? How many of us just go into it and go, "Well, whatever happens, Jesus, take the wheel. You got this." Um, and then expect, that it's going to go smoothly. It's not the right way. I mean, he says in the Bible, he talks about sowing the seeds. He talks about being prepared for those times when famine comes, but then also being prepared for the feast, right? And so I think too many of us just let our hands off the wheel and whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but we really should have some planning and some preparation built into that. And then the other thing you said, conflict. Just to hit on that briefly, this is something I've struggled with. Good conflict is good, bad conflict is bad. Learn how to have good conflict because we're not all always going to agree. So learn how to have good conflict. Learn how to have good discussions, and those moments of conflict. Yeah, you might still get a little tensed up, but it goes a lot smoother if you become prepared for conflict. So, um, EJ, throwing the hands in the air. Yes, sir. I don't know what point it was for, but he liked something we were preaching. Um, so what else you got going, Miss Ward? What else is like on your on your brain? I know you said you were trying to like get mentally prepared for the day.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I want to touch back on what you were stating. That confrontation, and there's a book, I'm going to put it in the comments, called Crucial Conversations. This book is very good um, when it comes to dealing with learning how to handle and resolve conflict. I got it many years ago. I swear it's almost 15 or 20 years ago, but it's great. And it walks you through having conversations that you're uncomfortable with. And a lot of it has to do with the proper questions, listening, opening your heart and your ears at the same time, so that you can see that a lot of times when you deal with irate customers or you have to have a touchy subject conversation, you really have to not only put yourself in the other person's shoes, but understand that person's background, why they have formed those opinions and their experiences, and don't diminish them.
Mm,
You
yeah,
follow me? Because
it's true.
we walk into situations where it's all about us and we have these ulterior motives, or we want a specific outcome. And I've been guilty of it because I am so driven and so strong willed and so about not failing, that I push myself to limits that a lot of people don't. So it was hard for me to, particularly coming into this industry, and look at the standards that people accept and not look at the people like they were crazy. Like who? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I'm just built a little different, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's just that everyone's different and you have to respect where they are. And sometimes you got to meet people where they are. And then some you just say, that's a no. I'm
Yep.
not going to lower my vibration. Because I understand when I lower my vibration, then you got to deal with, you know,
Right.
caprice,
Right.
not
Yeah.
rotate. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing that we run into in those situations where we made a mistake is that we then try to make excuses instead of, you know what, I'm sorry. Uh, how how could we make this right for you? Like what what pain did this cause you, right? And what you're doing is you're showing some empathy there. You're showing some care for them there. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how many of us just go in and we have these preconceived notions in those moments, and then that just raises the tension level, right? That raises the customer's fight or flight. um, so it's one of those, you have to learn how to be empathetic while standing your ground. So
True.
I like this one. Well, we'll go to this first.
Yeah, you already put it out there, EJ. So hey, it's out the bag. Hey, look here, let me give it all to him. Richelieu Caprice Ward. You know, I never say, people who know me call me Richelieu. And it's a whole joke behind that, you know. And then when I say Richelieu, people are like, are you of Haitian descent? I'm like, no, I'm not. It's a
Oh,
whole
goodness.
story, but we're not getting into that. But that's a great question, EJ.
So he's asking, I'm interviewing a tech candidate today. Any advice or favorite question to ask? I'll let you start that one.
Well, I think that when you're interviewing people, you have to take the edge off,
Mm.
because you know you're interviewing the representative, and the reality is we really need to know who you are when the newness rubs off. So
Hmm.
I like to ask questions about what is it, if they do have a background in appliance repair, what is the favorite appliance to work on? Because you know these guys, guys and girls, they, oh, I work on everything. I'm looking at them like, no, you don't, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then what's your favorite? What do you like about necessarily the industry? I don't want it to be too formal. I want them to get really relaxed, because when people get relaxed and comfortable, oh, the slip is there. And then you can
Hmm.
decide who and what you're hiring. So I want to know, what is your favorite appliance to work on? Um, what attracted, you know, what can we do to you to help you become not only a better technician? What are you looking for in a company? What are your long range goals? What can we do to retain you? You know, what can we do to help you get to the next level in your life, personally, professionally, and otherwise? I always like to put in their court and make them all warm and fuzzy. And then they get real comfortable, and then, you know, they think I'm that cool ass auntie and start telling me all their business. That's what I
Yeah,
do.
I mean, you're really making it about them,
Mhm.
because as people we're just selfish, right? And so being able to make it about us, people are able to open up more. So if we're interviewing, we want to make it less about us and more about them. But there does come a point where you have to kind of share who you are, because they're just as much interviewing you as you are them. So make sure there's a little bit of balance in there. It's not going to be perfectly even, but make sure there's some balance where they can get to know who you are. Saul's comment, what would you like? What would you have liked to do more at your last job? What's your greatest accomplishment? The only thing that I would, and lastly, do you drink Cuban coffee? The only thing that I would add to that is, what was your greatest failure and how did you overcome it at your last job, right? Because everyone wants to talk about accomplishments and, pat themselves on the back, right? But what was something you screwed up and how did you fix it? because that's going to tell you who that person really is. How we face when we make a mistake. That really tells you how they're going to react in different situations. Because the reality, just like we started the episode with, mistakes are going to happen, and it's not that the mistake happened, it's how you move on from that mistake, how you correct that mistake, that makes the biggest difference. So I like to ask, what was your biggest failure at your last job? And then how did you overcome that, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then I like to know, what do you like to do in your off time, right? Because if we're so wrapped up in work and all we're doing is working, right? Like, that doesn't leave much time for anything else. And so there has to be that little off time. My season's busy. I'm working 12 and 16-hour days still, right? But I know that winter is coming. I took a week off to go and ride a bike, right? Like, what are these things that you like to do in your off time? Because that's really going to give you an indication of, do they have some balance? Do they like to, are they able to get rid of some of that stress that comes from all the work that we're doing? So, great question, EJ.
Yeah,
Don't
great.
don't hesitate to drop a question in there. We're just
Yeah,
freestyling it today. We're
yeah,
spitballing whatever comes to our mind. So, um,
yeah. I think that I really, what's interesting. I live in Florida, so when other places are slowing down due to weather, we're speeding up
you
because
guys
of
are,
the suburbs.
yeah.
And um, I just think it's really interesting because I watched the cyclical or cycle of events.
Mm,
You said a whole mouthful when you said winter is coming.
mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about my pet peeves. My pet peeves is when you know winter is coming and you're not preparing. You ain't got to tell the world, but you got to prepare mentally and you got to do what you got to do, because if you ain't moving to Florida or Puerto Rico or the Bahamas, it's a wrap. Get it together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand. I'm one of those people, I'm just about always reading the horizon. And the reason is because I can't be caught slipping, as we say over here.
Right. Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, how many, especially in the north, we really do have that slowdown in the winter time where the south kind of flips, and that's when you guys really crank up, because all the snowbirds from up here disappear down there, and they haven't seen their appliances for 9 months, and now they're not working, and this, that, and the other thing, right? So you guys get busy. But, like, how many people are actually preparing, and getting ready for that time? We know it's coming. We know that these seasons are cyclical, and so, I'm gonna pick on EJ for a minute. He's already starting to prepare for winter, right? He started preparing about 2 months ago, going, listen, this is where I'm cranking up this marketing. This is where I'm starting to work on this area. This is where I'm starting to make sure I have some cash flow for the winter. This is where I'm going to start hiring a technician. Like, he started preparing a couple months ago to be ready for, what was coming, right?
Yeah,
And so you have to really begin to prepare for that. So, um, Texas is 1 week in February. Yeah, that's pretty true. Other than that, it's hotter than hell.
yeah,
Little bit of
yeah.
spring, little bit of fall, and then the rest is just summer. So,
Well,
but yeah, the preparation is so key. You know.
yeah. Well, I think that I'm always talking location. It killed me when I'm on a video, I'm talking to somebody and they giving me the side eye because we're going over numbers. And I keep telling people, when is Miss Ward not in motion? I'm
Right.
just saying. You take Rob over there in Texas. Texas has its own economy.
Mm-hmm.
Texas separate from America and be okay
Oh
because
yeah.
Texas, you got Austin, Dallas. I mean, it is just one of those states where they really don't need the rest of us. I'm gonna be
Right.
honest about it. And
Right.
so when you're playing in that scenario, you can go from one part of Texas to the other and still get a bag. And I am
Hmm.
so not okay with people being stuck and thinking this stuff is going to come to them.
Right.
I left that a long time ago. I live in one of the largest states. Where I'm at right now, I actually have seasons in North Florida. I'm
Right.
basically in the Midwest, but I still have a home in South Florida, and I could
Right.
slide on down and hang out in Miami or Fort Lauderdale when I want. The
Right.
reality, though, is if you were so rigid and you're sitting all these leads thinking something's gonna come to you, and you haven't researched markets, you got to get it together, bro.
Right. Right. That's Siberia cold. Get We call that fall. I'm still wearing shorts at 56 degrees. Yeah, enough pie here for everyone to get fat, 100%. And so it is important. It is important to just know what you have going on um, in those different situations. So I'm gonna need to get going soon. I got the crew
I
boss
know.
coming up. I
I
got
got you.
customers coming up. It's like,
Got
geez
you.
Louise.
I got you. Well, the reality is that we open the door for everyone to answer questions. At the end of the day, we're always here every Friday to help and to be of service. So, like we said, if you got a question, people be killing me. Miss Ward be missing. No, I don't be missing. I'm just selective where I show up. If you
Right.
have a question, drop it in the comment because, I'm a brag on myself. I'm probably one of the foremost minds and when it comes to business of this century. And I
Oh,
own that.
100%.
I own that. Because
Right.
I'm quick on my feet, baby.
And you have to be. I mean, you really have to be in business. You have to be able to be
Mhm.
flexible and adaptable to the different things that are going on. Throughout the next week to the end of the year, um, I'm going to have the topics for us. They're the themes for the week, but it's going to be a lot of what would I, if I was to do it again, if I was to start a business again, what were the things that I wish I would have learned ahead of time? And then, from the intermediate standpoint, what are the things that as I'm trying to grow that I wish I would have done differently or I'm starting to do differently because I see an issue? So we're going to be talking about these different business topics and the different stages of business through the end of the year. The secret is we talk about that all the time, but we're going to kind of structure it a little more. So we're going to start with like, hey, if you're starting a business, this is some of the lessons that we wish we would have learned, some of the books that we recommend, stuff like that. If you're in the middle of trying to grow a business or make a change in your business, we're going to be talking about some of that in the next chunk of that. And then if you're already a superstar and you're ready to rock into even more things, we'll talk about that towards the end. So that's the next couple months. The themes are going to change. It's really going to be focused on how we can help you no matter what stage of the business you're at. Speaking of that, next mastermind, September 21st, right before PSA. Service Alliance Group is leading some business classes at PSA, so don't miss that. But right before that, if you're an all access member, servicealliancegroup.com, become an all access member. We are doing the masterminds every single month, right? And we're talking these different business topics. Last month was optimizing your Google business profile. This month is going to be marketing 101. So, what are some of these things that you need as you're trying to market your business? Good morning, Ant Dog. I love the consistency. This is a great paradigm combo every Friday morning. I appreciate it. Well, we appreciate you tuning in. It doesn't happen without you guys in the audience. That's why we're always telling you, ask questions, pick our brains. That's really what we're here for. And
Yeah.
same thing applies on the rest of the days. Even though we have a theme, even though we have things we're talking about, if you have questions on the things we're talking about, interact. We're here to answer questions. So, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. I hope everyone has an awesome Labor Day weekend. Maybe enjoy a little time off on Monday. Don't party too hard. I don't know what
Yeah.
that is anymore.
Hey.
But
Well, I want to leave everybody with this. Please get out here and fail fast so you can really excel. I
yeah,
think that people really don't understand the importance importance of failing. You
Yep.
got to get out here and mess up, because how else are you going to get good? It's just like riding a bike. And I think so many people are afraid, and by the time they step out, they like, dang, I could have been did this. Please
Mm-hmm.
here. And even if you're afraid, put your toe in the water, because you got to. There's no other way. There's no shortcut. Get you some mentors you trust, vet them. I repeat, please vet them and get the what you need to get to the next level. Because right
Well,
now, time ain't waiting on nobody.
100%. I had a mentor who would tell me, do it scared and do it anyway, right? So that was some of the best advice. I do a lot of crap scared. Ant Dog, like I said, tune in the next couple months. We're hitting on all that stuff. Andrew brought up relocation. I mean, that definitely can be something. And Miss Ward, great insight about failure. It's again like some of you guys that are tuning in towards the end, go back and watch it. We talked about it in the beginning. It's not how you fail, it's not that you failed, it's how you move on from those failures that make the biggest difference. So do it scared, don't be afraid to fail, learn how to fail well, and make those corrections going
Hey,
forward.
I
So
know we're wrapping up real quick here. I just want to say one thing to Ant Dog. Ant Dog, because you have that technical background, I would strongly recommend that you maintain your tech situation. Go ahead and sign up for some warranty companies. Get your foot wet, and because there are a lot of them in your area. Um, Stabilize the tech side so you can go out here and focus on the appliance side. And what you're going to find is that because you have a tech background, you're going to be able to put systems in place through AI. You follow me? And you're going to be able to re up your skill set. And then you're going to know how to move, because you're going to find the proper clientele that you're comfortable working with, that speaks your language, your right avatar. You're going to see what areas you're challenged in. But because you're a smart guy, you're going to go where the profit is. Where
mhm,
everybody's running away from, you're going to go there, you're going to be trained, and you're going to excel. That's,
100%.
yep,
Mic drop.
the usual.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you have a great weekend. Tune in again Monday. Doug and I will be back, and we'll be starting to talk about starting an appliance business, the lessons that we wish we would have known. So we will see you next time on the morning grind. Have a good weekend, guys.